YouTube taught me how to fix drywall.
Did you watch my drywall video?
No, I didn't watch your drywall video. You got a drywall video?
I think I started one. I had a huge hole in the wall and I was going to make a little...
I think I watched Manuel the Mexican teaching me teaching me drywall.
You're probably better off watching Manuel the Mexican than watching me.
So, because we're moving out of here in a week, and there's been a big hole in the vacuum cupboard. I think the vacuum went a bit hard into the wall and left a big dent hole, so I had to cut it out and fill it and shit, and did quite a good job. Thanks, Manuel. So he's got a lifetime subscriber now.
You already got it done?
I'm going to Manuel for everything.
Nice.
Nice.
Manuel, is that the name of the channel? Manuel the Mexican?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever met a Mexican?
No.
You've never met
I've never met a Mexican. Have you ever met a Niuean?
What's that?
You've never met a Niuean?
No.
Oh. From
What's
Niue? From Niue?
No. I've met a Maori and a Tongan.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you met a Rarotongan?
No. There's a lot of Samoans here too.
Yeah.
They're all gangs. It's like there's a lot of Samoan gangs in California.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
There's a few.
Isn't the guy from Stargate Atlantis Samoan?
Oh, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
He looks like he's Samoan.
The name definitely sounds like it.
Yeah. You know, he's talking about Conan, the new Conan.
And Khal Drogo.
Yeah, Khal Drogo.
Khal Drogo.
Khal Drogo. The Rock is Samoan, isn't he?
Yeah, he might be.
I think he is. The big
Dwayne
man.
Johnson?
Dwayne Johnson.
I don't know. He looks like he probably might.
Yeah, man. Dwayne Johnson. That's a real Samoan name.
Yeah, totally Samoan. Alright, how do things sound?
Good, man.
Everything's fine?
Yeah. I've got to use my indoor voice. I'm fucking tone deaf, man.
You must have had a grenade go off next to your head.
Next to my ear. Back in
WW2.
Yeah, back in quarantine. Had one of them German potato mashes go off right next to my ear. Fucked me up all kinds of nasty ways.
That's funny.
Come on, Art. We know you just reluctant to turn that light switch on.
Oh, dude, you've seen my video, dude. It's this thing being a piece of shit.
He doesn't want us to see his face.
Oh, shit.
Have you plugged it into the USB?
Of course I have. I mean, I'm fucking around with it. Now I'm enabling it and disabling it to see if it starts behaving.
How was your guys' Thanksgiving?
It was lovely. How about you guys don't? Did you?
We don't do Thanksgiving here, man.
You fucking should. It's the reason to give thanks.
That's right. Stuff our face with turkey and celebrate gluttony.
Fuck
Yeah,
yes.
we
Let's
did
do
it
it,
right.
Eric.
Ashley got a big turkey and I carved it. I watched some YouTube videos on how to carve a turkey and it's pretty easy.
Man,
Yeah, on one?
YouTube's
started-
fantastic for that sort of stuff.
Fuck yeah, dude! I learned it's just like a little chicken autopsy. It kind of started fucking with me though, dude. As soon as I started ripping out the wishbone, digging out the neck and stuff like that, I was like, all right, I'm kind of not hungry to eat this thing now, but I want to get it done.
So you did the turkey and the whole 9 yards, man?
Yep. Mashed potatoes.
Nice.
Oh, it was awesome.
Pumpkin pie?
No, my mom brought over some carrot cake.
So you had the
And
whole
cupcakes.
famdanglers come over?
Yeah, just my parents and us.
Yeah.
Everybody else is kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Families, it used to be huge, man. We used to have huge family things. Now everybody's has their own families. And it's kind of,
splinters off and does its own thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was nice.
Same for you, Art?
Oh yeah, we went to my brother's and we had a really nice time.
To build?
I made castle stuffing, green bean casserole, turkey, the whole show. It was wonderful.
Nice.
All right, I'm
That's nice.
rebooting. I'll be back.
Okay, Art.
Right.
Cool. Do you like this different angle today, Jonathan? Normally I'm like on the right.
Yeah, you could switch it around.
Nah, I moved my chair.
Oh, you mean where you're sitting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I moved it.
Yeah, I just noticed
It's
that
normally
you're
here.
a little, yeah.
It's normally here.
No.
Today it's here.
No, I don't know which one's your good side.
I don't know if I have a good side, dude.
Everyone does.
Do they?
Yeah, fuck yeah, everybody has a good side.
Hmm.
You ever taken a picture of yourself looking straight on and then split the picture in half and then flip the picture so you have a symmetrical face and it doesn't even look like you?
Really?
Dude, it's fucking weird. And then take the other half and make another picture where it's doubled, and you'll see one of those faces is more symmetrical and more handsome will be your good side.
Oh shit.
Yeah, dude, nobody's faces are really that symmetrical. It's really weird.
Yeah, man. I didn't even know that, dude. You know what I'm doing this afternoon?
What's that?
Taking photos of my face and doing...
Try it out.
Yeah, give
Try
it a
it.
go.
It's weird. When your face is actually symmetrical, it makes you look less like you. It looks like a fake picture of you. It looks like a CG version of you.
A CG version.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like the name Boner is nothing new. Like my dad was called Boner when he was in the Air Force. He went into the Air Force in 1960 and got out in '64. And he's been Boner since then. I've been Boner.
Do you have life of boners?
I'm well used to it. I've even had I had a teacher that called me that. Because everyone else did, so why not?
Yeah. No, we're totally original with that, man.
Yeah. It's really fitting.
Yeah. So,
Because I suffer from erectile dysfunction. Oh, jeez. What were you about to say?
I don't know, man.
Before you were so rudely interrupted.
Did you like your logos and shit, man? Are you gonna use any of them and shit? Or?
Yeah. I like the second one the best.
Yeah. Cool. What one did Ashley like the best?
The second one.
Hmm.
She didn't see the penis, though.
Hmm.
Like, she looks at it, she's like, I still don't see it.
This guy's got dicks on the brain, man.
That's what I thought. I said even they look at clouds and see dicks.
Hmm. Wonder if Art's back and... I'll go check. Dude, you guys have some weird shit in your diets, eh?
We have there's a soda company here. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Jones Soda Company. I don't know if they're still around, but they actually used to make a turkey-flavored soda. It was like turkey gravy-flavored soda. And around Thanksgiving, it would just fly off the shelves to those retards who would buy it.
Turkey gravy-flavored soda.
Yeah, dude.
It's fucked up.
That sounds fucked.
Yep. I never tried it because I'm not a trailer trash.
I have a house. I never tried it because I have a house.
I never tried it because my house doesn't have wheels.
Or is double wide.
What was that at?
Or is double wide.
My house doesn't have a license plate, so I don't do stuff like that.
Yeah, depending on what recreational, material you may be employing over the weekend, it might sound good.
My house can't do over 30.
Oh, jeez.
Are we gonna do this interview just with a black screen, bro? This happens to us, man.
Yeah, we're used to it.
We got time, Art.
This will be episode, what, 4?
Yeah. It'll be our first black screen episode.
Oh.
Like this.
Is this because I told you to put your pants on?
Crikey.
How are things, as far as like everybody getting along over in New Zealand?
Everyone getting along?
They all hate each other. They're on the verge of civil war.
Mm-hmm.
North and the South.
The North and the South, yeah.
It seems like a Discord here for over the news.
We can't hardly hear you now, dude.
Yeah, it really hurt your sound. Bummer.
Have you got a headset, mate?
Yeah, just give me a second.
Okay, man. No, yeah, here in New Zealand we just hate each other.
It's pretty much like North and South Korea at this point.
Yeah, the DMZ's the DMZ's like.
I'll be right back.
Okay, man. It's like half an hour that way.
Yep, and it's just a standoff.
It is constantly.
Missiles, chemical weapons pointed at one another.
We had the Waikato missile crisis last year.
Fuck you, mate.
You fucked.
The North Island is a dictatorship ran by like some little old lady.
By Winston Peters.
Everyone has pictures of him in their living room, and they're just like,
I got him up there.
they worship him. Oh God!
Oh.
No, they're not allowed to have religion. You guys, I'm sorry for your current dictatorship.
Yeah, that's all right. You guys have Obama. Russia had Stalin. We've got Winston.
What's he like?
He's a rogue, man. But he's got balls. You got to give kudos to the guy. He's a Maori MP. Takes no shit and throws it, man. But he's a bit of a shit stirrer too. But people love him for it.
So that's not a thing there. Where like the Polynesian cultures are. They run for office and they get elected. And
yeah, man. We're not 1930s Germany, bro.
But was there ever a time where they had to like stand up for their civil rights?
Yeah, they did. This is going right back into the early days. But New Zealand's a very integrated society now. I mean, for a very young nation, you got to remember when the Brits came over to New Zealand, they didn't conquer the indigenous population like they did in so many other nations. When they came up against the Maori, they knew they had a fucking fight on their hands, and and as a result, they needed the Treaty of Waitangi, which is like, if we had anything that came remotely close to a constitution in this country, it would be the Treaty of Waitangi, which is like the grounds up north, about 2 hours north of where, not even that, probably an hour and a half north of where I'm moving back to, my hometown. Up there's a lot of big battles and stuff through the Maori Wars between the English and the Maori. Yeah, it's steeped in history up there. Hardcore. But yeah, the Treaty of Waitangi was signed, which basically said that, look, if the English monarchy gave you a bunch of blankets and muskets, you give us your land, and we'll call it even.
Right.
And
that's how it should have been done.
No, they got a raw deal, man. And there's been although there's always been peace, or you'll get occasional flare-ups here, but there's been well, from an international perspective, there's been real peace here. even despite the odds. But even though we are an integrated society, there is still a respected, not a division, but a recognition of the two integrated cultures, Pakeha, or the white people, us, and Maori, the native folk, the tangata whenua, people of the land. So it's it's alive and well, but it's a nation of two people coming together as one. I guess we're just stronger for it. So,
from like my perspective, it seems like they really respect the cultures that are there.
Yeah, and we're big on culture in this country.
You see white people doing a haka for people, and there's like a lot of traditions that the white people there love. It's like kind of a part of their thing. Yeah,
it totally is. Totally. I mean, Maori history is rich. It's fascinating. Every bit as fascinating as cultures from other parts of the world. But it's a unique place, this country, mate. But
like what the Europeans did to the Native Americans here, they
dumped them on reservations.
They made it like a cartoon. Like Indian culture is. I don't know.
That's a shame, mate. I mean, the Indian culture to me is pretty amazing in its own right.
It is.
It's freaking amazing.
It's really, truly lost,
Yeah. Is it lost?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
What you see and what you think of Indian culture are keychains that you could buy at truck stops and little feathers and all that kind of bullshit. But there's so much more to Indian culture that you can't make a keychain out of. That is all gone,
Fuck, so it's just been reduced to Americana?
Yeah, and the commercials about the little crying Indian. You remember that commercial where like somebody throws litter out of their car and you see an Indian, little tear goes down the Indian's face? Americans talk about Indians when they talk about the love of nature and the love of the land and, American history, but it has nothing to do with what those people live by.
Yeah.
The philosophies they live by. They were fucking barbarians. They were most of them were warrior cultures.
Yeah, it's the same with our Maoris. They were warrior.
Yeah.
It's a warrior people.
If Europeans wanted anything to do with this land, it was going to take crazy bloodshed and destruction of a culture, because the culture was based around fighting for the land. That's all they did for thousands of years was fight other tribes for land.
Yeah, the same with the Maoris, mate. There was just there was tribal wars, there's the whole 9 yards.
The white man is just another tribe to them. They didn't realize the support that the white man had from fucking every other country, other countries.
Yeah.
If they needed it, if it would have meant going to war, it would have been like the Apache Wars were still going on into the early 1900s. There were still Apaches attacking people.
Yeah.
Geronimo died in what, 1930s? When he was a young man, he was a fucking brutal dude.
Yeah. I think God's having real problems with this shit, man.
I think I'm having problems with Skype being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've tried Google Hangouts. That was a no-go.
Our nation's pretty passionate about its politics and nonsense, but we're... Holy shit! Don't do that to me. You scared the shit out of me. How are you, mug?
I'm doing good.
About time. Me and Jonathan have just been chewing the cud.
What? Chewing the what?
The cud.
Cud?
Yeah, the cud.
I haven't heard that in a long time. As long as you don't chew the pod, I think we're okay.
I have to use my inside voice now. I have to talk very quietly, or else you guys are going to be drowned out by my omnipotent presence.
Yeah, it is still a little loud.
Am I still a little loud? Even
No,
now?
don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just speak quietly.
Just speak quietly.
I'm coming through.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's episode of the Brotherhood of the Fly. To our left here, we have Mr. Art Braun of Skullduggery Press, the Muppet who spent the last hour trying to get his... Oops. his
Fuck
vidcam
you.
working.
30 minutes, prick.
Oh, sorry. The last 30 minutes. Well, Jonathan's been sparking up in the top right and entertaining me with the small talk. So welcome aboard, Art. Glad to have you here.
How are you, gents?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm still well fed from Thursday.
Sweet, so you're still in a turkey coma?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm still in a turkey coma.
What'd you do?
Yeah, we're still living off turkey sandwiches.
You still got the turkey sandwiches?
Turkey sandwich leftovers.
I don't got turkey sandwiches. We tend to leave the turkeys alone down here. We have them at Christmas time, but we're more a ham nation.
Ham?
I get it. We eat a lot. We do a fair amount of ham for Christmas and Easter here.
Yeah. What'd you do, Art, over Thanksgiving? Anything out of the ordinary, mate?
Anything out of the ordinary?
Yeah.
Nothing really exciting.
Eat turkey, drink piss, watch ball?
The football game sucks, so we turned that off. And, I was, the designated driver, so there was nothing too exciting. Wild cherry Diet Pepsi.
Ooh. Win. Okay, gents, hold 1 second, and we are back and into it. That's cool, Art. So, did you get up to much over the weekend, post Thanksgiving?
Actually, I worked on a lot of skullduggery shit this weekend, so that was good. Talked to a bunch of folks and, trying to get this ship on the right course. It's like a long and arduous process. I had no idea it was going to be this much of a pain in the ass to put miniatures on the market.
It is a pain in the ass, but it's a lesson, I guess, that's best learnt up close and personal. Well, everyone, you probably noticed that we don't have Mr. Qualtieri with us this morning. He's unfortunately been called away to assist in one of his myriad of other companies. So unfortunately we have to make do without Josh today. And likewise, we had hoped to get Jason Monkman on this show today, but at this point in time he's gone AWOL. So Jason,
where is he exactly?
He's in the UK.
We're in the UK.
I don't rightly recall. I'll tell you in a second.
Something Shire.
Probably.
Something Shire. London Shire. Are you trying to find him now, are you?
I was just messaging him on Facebook. I know he's had internet problems all day.
Oh, okay.
He's got Virgin Media, so, no like a virgin over there.
Ah, what's she like?
I don't know. West Yorkshire. So there you go. You were right.
I was right. Stereotypes never disappoint you.
No, they don't.
So, Arthur Braun of Skullduggery Press.
Strong German name.
How the hell did you get into this market, mate? Let's start with when. When did you have the idea?
So, about 2 years ago, I was actually having a lot of communications with Keith Armstrong and Harold Crosley, and, doing some behind-the-scenes assistance with them with, getting models printed and stuff like that. And, they were goading me into, you should do your own thing. Well, August, September rolled around, I think 2 years ago, yeah, and I saw some miniatures up for sale, some greens, and it, forced my hand. And I jumped in and bought the rights.
Which ones were they?
What's that?
Which line was that?
It's a line I'm not going to be producing at this point.
Okay.
I think you and I have had enough discussions on...
Oh, that line? That line?
That disaster, yeah. That's what I got in with.
Okay. I didn't realize... I thought you had that one commissioned from scratch. I didn't realize you brought it as an existing...
No, there were pieces that were there, and then I commissioned other pieces. But, the distinct lack of communication on the part of the sculptor should have been the lesson learned, but it wasn't,
It wasn't me, everyone. It wasn't me, just in case you're wondering.
No, it was not Anton. Wasn't anybody on this Skype call.
What were the figures like? They were 15 millimeter, and could you describe them?
And
I can definitely share pictures that we could pop up and show what they were, but they were undead space astronauts, which were now being redone by Mr. Monkman.
from scratch.
Yep.
Okay, that throws a spanner in the works a bit.
The concept is sound, and it's something I like,
Yeah,
and I want to do it right as opposed to do
half-assed.
it wrong. Yeah, I'm not doing anything half-assed. I'd rather have it take some time and have the customers absolutely wowed by the finished product, because it's something I can be proud of, and they can, have stand out on their tabletop or in their display cases or whatnot, and be a real joy to paint and play with.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I mean, if there's anything I can say about Skullduggery Press from an outside point of view is you haven't done anything half-assed. I mean, just look at the amount of effort and time that Jason and yourself have put into this alternative line you're working with. What is the name for that particular line?
Oh, there's a bunch of factions. He's working on the Death Guard, the Dark Legion,
The Dark
and
Legion.
the Fox Troopers.
Yeah,
Yep.
the Dark Legion's one I was meaning.
And he's quite enamored with them, as am I. And the Tox Troopers are equally as interesting. He just posted a pic today on Facebook that, stunning, just stunning.
Yeah, he's definitely
The
got
amount
a
of detail
unique.
that goes onto these, I almost don't want to put them on a game table.
Yeah, they look incredible.
Put him behind a glass case.
And the other thing that really is, I'm going back to my roots, is I was involved in rapid prototyping back in the 90s. So all the Motorola StarTAC flip phones, I built all those at the company I was working on. We were located in Schaumburg, just across the expressway from Motorola. And so I'm doing everything where I 3D model all of the weapons that the factions have, and then I'm getting them printed and then sent to Jason to be used in the figures, so that he doesn't have to spend time trying to make gun after gun after gun,
Yeah.
or castings. He can just pick something up, put it on a figure, and run with it.
Yeah, nice. So the Death Guard was your initial line that you launched Skullduggery with, but although you haven't technically released them yet, how did things sort of progress from there? You mentioned before you had a problem with your initial sculptor. Then what, did you put your feelers out to? Did you find Jason yourself, or?
Strangely enough, my brother was liking posts of Jason's on his Facebook page, and I think that had actually come from Jason Lopes at Legacy Effects. And so I connected with Jason, sent him a message, and I said, "Hey, are you interested in sculpting something small?" And he said, "Yeah, I think, I don't think he's done anything professionally from a sculpting standpoint, so I gave him his first professional opportunity to do sculpting. And I know he's doing some larger scale stuff with Tim Jonker as well, for like the larger pieces that are more artistic.
Yeah, the sort of like collectible pieces as opposed to anything in this industry.
So he's kind of going in a couple different directions. And, I've done, I've worked with him for the better part of a year, and we've got a lot of pieces assembled, and, I've sent him some pose style sheets, and he's working from those now and going to finish those off. So I'm hoping within the next 3 months we actually have some Death Guard up for sale. We have some Tox Troopers, follow that up. And then the Dark Legion, well, we're working on the Dark Legion. There's a lot of figures that folks haven't seen.
Yeah.
I run and I've mentioned this to you before, that I run a design team group that's a private group, on Facebook where we share ideas, and people write, and the 3D modelers discuss stuff amongst themselves too, because I am doing a lot of 3D models as well.
So you're running it as a collaborative, on the side as a collaborative between a mixed assortment of creators.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I think that when people see something of Jason's, it might inspire something they're doing. When they're doing something, it might inspire Jason. And for certain, it inspires me, and it keeps keeps the whole ship
moving forward, afloat, and moving towards the end game of, hey, we're going to have miniatures to release. There's going to be a solid universe backstory behind it. I've released some short stories there. I've had some 15 millimeter miniatures 3D modeled by Jeremy Smith, who's out of Washington State, who did just an amazing job. And I believe I've posted renders of those on the Facebook page, and they're stunning. Nice.
I'm probably going to have to get those printed on a Profactory machine because of the detail. I don't think that I can pull the detail from a traditional stereolithography machine. It's going to need to be something finer. Because they're like 14 millimeters tall, right?
Wow.
They're small, but they're gorgeous.
What sort of costs are associated with that, Art?
Pardon? What's that?
What sort of costs are associated with that? With taking that alternative step to capture that fine detail?
Well, all right, so you're talking probably. I probably spent easily $150 per pose.
Yep.
And then when I go to get them printed, I'm probably looking at I don't know, $800 to $1,000 for it to go on a Profactory. And the beauty of it, though, is I can get them printed in 15, and later on, if things are popular, I could just get them printed in 28, and I don't incur any more costs.
That's the beauty of it, eh?
Yeah. So that's like with the guns, too, right? I can have the guns, all those weapons, reprinted at 28. Heroic 28, right?
Yeah.
If things are very successful at 15.
Yeah, for sure. So you're using 15 mil as a test bed at this point.
Absolutely, and Monkman has done some 28 millimeter stuff for us. That they're gorgeous. I mean, I've shown some of that stuff off, and the Dark Legion in 28 is frighteningly cool. So the possibility of us going in those directions. I've got it's like a 15 millimeter lineup of folks working on my stuff. Giacomo Pantalone is modeling the guns, and now Jeremy Smith is modeling some of the guns too. And I'm trying to get stuff done a little more rapidly, maybe incur a little bit more cost, but a little more rapidly, so I can put the right tools in Jason's hands so we can get those miniatures to market.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have any supporting rule system or sort of implements in place or in the process to support these miniature lines, or are you looking at just launching them as a solid miniature line to start with, or what sort of angle are you taking from?
So you're asking a good question, because I don't want to be constrained by rules.
Yep.
I've got, it's more sci-fantasy than it is sci-fi.
Yeah.
Which is what I wanted. The hard sci-fi stuff is lovely, and Keith and Harold and the gang can do all that stuff and be happy, and Mike Renegar, but I want to do something that's different. So I've actually adopted, I'm probably going to use Tomorrow's War, Harder Than Steel, and Grunts as the rules that I officially support.
Okay.
And I will get stat cards done and units drawn up for them, and do it right for them as well. Probably a free PDF download, even if it costs me money to make. I'll make sure that stuff is free so that the customer can get it and download it and play it. And the beauty is, if you don't like what I've done, you can make your own rules up with all those games. You can stat out that figure and do it exactly the way you want it and make the Death Guard your own. You don't have to use what I'm writing. And I think that's one of the beauty of 15 millimeters. You can always do what you want to do with it. It truly is for any scale of miniatures. I just don't think that it's as prevalent in 28. I think it's far more prevalent in 15.
That's a good point. Yeah, because, I mean, even Jonathan was asking the other day, with regards to what type of rule sets have been used. We were talking about grunts, Jonathan, about it.
Yeah.
On the Facebook page.
Really.
Yeah, grunts has been like the staple for what seems like forever. But there's also a lot of cool alternatives out there. I mean, you've got obviously the ambush alley stuff that's been around since day dot. Grunts coming a little later in the picture, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, the ambush alley stuff is more for kind of modern
Yeah,
stuff,
it started that way, but they've got alternative offerings now.
Like a sci-fi version.
Yeah, they're sort of.
Yeah. Tomorrow's War and By Dagger and Talon is which expands them into sci-fi, but it's more hard sci-fi. By Dagger and Talon lets you make those alien xenomorphs and let them engage with the colonial marines, so that's pretty cool. I expect that it's still an untapped market. Would I do a set of rules down the road? Maybe.
Possibly.
I'd rather write background shit that's cool and do short stories. Let people figure out the rules themselves.
That's a cool offering in itself, art. Sort of a collection of art and history background fluff books. And by offering the ability or the options for players to use whatever rule system they prefer, just to me, it's bringing in support of the community. It's offering support to the rules designers who have a hard enough time as it is, pushing your own rules forward without supporting the miniature lines.
And everyone that runs those sets of rules are great. I know that I've talked to Giacomo. He's talking about coming out with his own set of rules, and since he's part of the Skullduggery team, absolutely, I'll support his stuff too.
Yeah. Cool.
So it looks like a lot of the Skullduggery stuff's kind of scully infantry dudes. Do you have any plans for vehicles?
Oh shit, yeah.
He does.
Yeah, I've got a few things actually that I haven't shown. I know Jason's working on vehicles. I've got Jeremy Smith working on Silver Order grav tanks and troop carriers, and he is also. I've got Jason Spikerman working on Death Guard support ships, which are very much with the skull motif and the undead. I know I've shown artwork on the website and Facebook on that. And then actually I bought a VTOL from Matty Zander that he's going to work on changing out the weapons to be Silver Order weapons. So I'll be showing that off, probably in the next couple of weeks, at least what the renders look like. Get people a little bit excited about that too. And then I'm exploring some options like I know I'm working with the Death Guard grav tank artwork with Dave Lewis Johnson. I'm waiting for him to send me some updates based on the last feedback I gave him. So, I've got a lot of vehicles kind of out there. It's just I haven't probably shown stuff off recently.
You're keeping your cards closer to your chest these days, Art.
I wonder, we've had a couple discussions on that now, haven't we?
And for good reason. We can't
reason.
have prying eyes from other camps.
You are so right. We've had a couple of conversations on that.
And there, I think, is our token plug for this episode.
There you go.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You probably do, Jonathan. You probably do. So, when these lines come to fruition, sort of January, February, whenever, are you looking to release them via traditional means, via your web shop, via friendly local game stores, or are you going to go the Kickstarter route that seems to be the flavour of the day?
So, I'm going to release them on the web store. I know you and I have had numerous conversations about the profitability factor of 15 millimeter.
Yeah.
And for certain, we're in agreement when I run the numbers that putting them in a store sounds really nice, but I don't think it's economically viable.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. I don't want to sort of take us off on a tangent, but what are your thoughts on the current state of friendly local gaming stores? I mean, I'm looking back sort of 10 years ago to when I was running Flytrap Factory. Sorry, not Flytrap, Flashpoint Miniatures.
Flashpoint, yeah.
And at its height, I think I've mentioned before, I think we had like 16 stockists, mainly in the US and the UK. Had a few in Europe and a few in Australia, but they were sort of at our peak. And I noticed by the time I sort of wrapped up with Flashpoint that things were starting to change. You know, the stores were getting hit, the economy was starting to take a little bit of a turn, and these big staple stores that I remember being, you know, so vividly as being the big players in the retail aspect of this industry, this hobby, starting to disappear. And I mean, now I look at, been here in Auckland, there used to be, you know, 5 or 6 off the top of my head that I can think of, quite prolific stores that would supply not just hobby materials but gaming materials, miniatures, that sort of stuff. And now there might be 2 or 3, and that's in the largest city in the country. And the opportunities for us, and I've looked around, you know, I've got my network set up for Flytrap Factory, but I'm finding it increasingly difficult to bring these gaming stores on board when, as we may have mentioned in the past, they've been so conditioned to caution as a result of the likes of Kickstarters and all the other, you know, the daily shinies that are coming out via alternative online means, which is basically just shutting the doors back in the face of the local store owners.
You know, I get that. If I were to go 28s, I think there would be more margin, isn't I? I think there would be more margin because with 15s, there's not a lot of margin.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to put it in a store and they want their cut,
you need volume.
Yeah, and I'm not prepared to do that kind of volume. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not interested to do that kind of volume.
Yeah.
I want this to be small and not crazy because my day job is good to me. You know, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at on that. As far as doing a Kickstarter, I've seen, you know, a couple close friends do their Kickstarters and be a slave to people that were jackasses, as far as I'm concerned, to them about delivery of Kickstarter stuff. And I'm not going to put myself in that mess. As a matter of fact, if I have customers that are jackasses to me, I'm just going to refund their money because I don't need that, right?
Yeah.
We can treat people civilly. Stuff happens in people's lives all the time, and I don't want to be held hostage with a Kickstarter.
No, and that's fair enough. I mean...
And, you know, I can afford to pay for this out of my pocket and release it slowly. And once I actually have product to sell, when I start that cycle, it'll start funding itself as opposed to coming out of my pocket. Yeah. And then it can perpetuate and then be its own, you know, separate entity. Maybe I can make a few of my dollars back. If not, I think I've invested very wisely in the art community, from, you know, both artists to 3D modeler to traditional sculpting.
And that support,
you know, I feel
goes
good
a
about
long
that
way.
too.
That support
you
goes
know,
a long way.
Yeah, you know, and if my payment to my artist, let them do something nice that weekend, or buy the new tablet that they've been wanting to use, or, you know, let them take a trip, all the better. I feel better about it.
Yeah.
It's a good trade-off.
See, this is great, Art. I mean, getting you on board today with us has let us explore yet another avenue. You know, we had Harold at Clear Horizon on board, and he's got his profession, but he's got Clear Horizon, which he runs solely business-minded. You know, it's very clinical, very sterile and processed. And so, you know, he's doing wonderful things. Then we had John B. Ross on board, and that was from the angle of the digital sculptor who gets money through commission work and supporting companies, which allows him to continue his profession. We now have an established businessman through yourself who got into the market not to make a name for himself or to form a business, but to offer a cool alternative, some top market products, but with that mental situation or mental state that I'm not in this to make money or make a name for myself or get ahead. That will happen, of course, naturally with what you're offering. But you can afford to be very choosy because, hey, this isn't designed to replace my day job. This is just an avenue for me to get involved with the community, get involved and meet new people and support them, and as a combined result, produce a top-of-the-range marketable product, which will then establish Skullduggery Press regardless as a a real contender in the market. So it's a whole different sort of angle of attack, which is really cool.
One thing that you didn't mention is, terrain. So, like, I have terrain, right?
Yep.
The stuff is ready to sell, but like Harold told me, he said, Art, do you want to be known as the terrain guy, or do you want to be known as the kick-ass miniatures guy?
Yeah.
Well, I want to be known as the kick-ass miniatures guy. So, yeah, I have terrain that would work in 15 and 28. This is cast up. It's ready to be sold, but I'm waiting to get Jason's sculpts up, running, in packages, up for sale. Make that the first release of Skullduggery Press.
And the terrain will be supporting that.
Yeah, and then come back and then boom, we've got, terrain that will work for 15, for 28. I'm doing a half-size version of this. Jack has modeled it. I think he needs to make a change or two, and I'm going to get them printed and get them over to John Paulson and get them cast up. But one of the other things that I'm planning on doing is, as we write these stories and expand the universe, if something really cool comes up out of a story, I'm probably going to get it sculpted. Maybe it won't be like a full faction range, but it would be, some cool character type of figures that folks could add in, or, do a scenario where, randomly these guys could pop out and, start screwing over the, whatever they're doing, right? Deride them from the mission objective, which is, to me, I think that's fascinating. Plus, if people ever want to go down the road of doing like role-playing with the miniature figures, they could have some of that flexibility too. I don't want to rule that out.
No, it pays not to rule any of it out.
I see them working well in like Rogue Trader games and stuff like that.
Yeah, I definitely see that, and I got to tell you, when I go back to, my senior year of high school and picking up Rogue Trader used at the Gamers Place in Oak Park, and opening that book and smelling the pages and hearing the binding crack and looking at the magic in there, man, that's, that says, that's a testament to this day of what they achieved back in the 80s. And, if I can get half that, I'd be happy.
So that was your...
It's like this book right here. It still kind of has a smell to it that's... It smells like that stinky game shop that I bought it in.
Yeah, right here. This is it. There you go. Inspiration right there.
Yeah. Wow. Nice.
This is it. It has a specific printing smell. Kind of like, I don't know if you guys ever played D&D. When I got the Fiend Folio back from Toys R Us, back in the 80s as well, it had a specific smell to it, and the pages had a certain feel and sound, and to me, there's nothing like that. So what I plan on doing with my background stuff is I'm actually going to put it in book form through Lulu, and I'll make it available as a PDF so people could buy it very reasonable cost. Get to see a bunch of the artwork that Todd has done, Todd Ulrich, the primary concept artist. And that way they can buy it in PDF if they just want to have it on their computer to have it for background. But if they want, they could pick it up and print.
Yeah.
As print on demand. And that way this achieves a couple of objectives. I don't have to actually have product in hand for that. And so I don't have to worry about inventory. People are, hey, my book is taking 3 weeks. Hey, give Lulu a holler. I'm sorry. Get with them. I'll make sure you have the PDF in your hands right away if you're going to buy the book. That's easy. But I want to make sure it's done in such a way that, God, I really like the Silver Order. I want to buy the book with them on the cover. Same book, different cover. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, no, super cool. So, just taking a step back out, was Rogue Trader your first entry point into this world? This industry?
Well, actually,
outside of Dungeons and Dragons?
It was Dungeons and Dragons and Starfleet Battles and Chill. Remember Chill? Did you guys ever play Chill?
No.
Horror role-playing? Done by Paysetter Games back in the 80s. And then, so we had done some of that horror role-playing.
Horror?
Yeah, I dig that. That definitely plays in.
I'm not surprised.
And then after seeing the movie Alien, my whole world changed.
Yeah.
So then when I picked up Rogue Trader, I was like, man, this is so fucked up and so cool. And I've seen Alien and I've seen this, and man, this sure looks like that. But who cares?
Yeah. See,
and
for me, it was sort of like Judge Dredd in 2000 AD had that same feel as well.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of a game? I think Citadel did a few figures. Paranoia.
Yeah, Paranoia was awesome.
Paranoia, I recall that.
Yeah.
That's kind of in that same vein, huh?
Yeah.
We played Paranoia at Gen Con a couple of times when it was in Milwaukee.
That was good fun. Paranoia. But yeah, that's sort of around the same time as the Ninja Turtles, which we've covered in a previous episode as well. Ninja Turtle role playing.
Oh yeah.
Which was super cool. It's so much better than the crap that you see out there today. But
oh god, the original Eastman and Laird stuff was brilliant.
Yeah.
Now it's gotten so contrived, and
Washed
Casey
out.
Jones used to really just break skulls in.
Yeah.
And now it's so tame.
Yeah, he was badass.
Yeah, well, he was a psychopath.
He was. So you mentioned before also you did the rapid prototyping of the flip-top phones and that sort of stuff. Do you still do much of that? You're outside of the Skullduggery Press items, the weapons and things for the sculptures. Do you still do a lot of that sort of stuff for your own just therapy?
So I actually designed all the cargo containers, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't 3D model. That's where I'm lacking in my skill, is the ability to do the 3D modeling. And at some point I need to get, as good with SketchUp as I can. But I've been pricing 3D machines lately. I keep my finger on the pulse of what's going on with that whole market.
Yeah.
I know I keep looking at that form too and wanting to press the buy button. But then I think I have bills to pay and a mortgage to pay and an ex-wife to pay. And
oh, you got one of those. Oh.
Yeah. But those are I'm definitely keeping my finger on the pulse. And I talk to my brother all the time. He still works in rapid prototyping. He's very good at what he does, and it's nice to have somebody that's in the industry to definitely reach out to and say, hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
And then I get back, this you're fucking crazy. This is going to be the hardest thing in the world to do, and blah blah blah. And then he's like, yeah, but we can do it.
Cool. So
he's awesome, man. He is such an awesome resource to reach out to and get that sanity check and say, hey, do you think it's going to happen or not? And
this is obviously Bill
when it
we're
comes
talking
down
about.
to it, it's going to happen, but it's just going to, sometimes it takes more work than we'd rather invest.
Just for the listeners, this is your brother Bill we're talking about, right?
Yeah, my brother Bill. Yep.
Brother Bill. Is he? I know he's done contract printing for a number of other companies. Is he constantly looking for other sources of work? If people listening today need stuff done and have the files and everything at their disposal, are they able to contact you through Facebook and pass the information on to your brother, or is he pretty much sticking to his tried and true?
So buildparts.com is where you can get a hold of C-Ideas, which is the company he works at. And they do brilliant work. Yep. Buildparts.com. And you can, send anything you want. I guarantee anything you send through his company is going to come out looking better than what you get back from Shapeways.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing good about them.
So, let's talk about rapid prototyping printing just for a couple of minutes. It really is dependent on the technician you get at the time you send your parts in. Somebody that's got skill and experience, they're going to lay your parts out in such a way that they're going to build right and build better. And then the other side of that is you just can't take your 3D printed parts, which, this is a 3D printed part. You can't just throw this into a mold. You actually need to pattern finish it, which means it needs a coat of paint. It's going to need some of the stair stepping, if there's any stair stepping on it, removed and evened out, so that it, there's definitely some handcraft and artisanship to finishing the parts. And then once you get that done, then your parts are ready to go into the silicone mold, and then you get out what I would call master castings to futz around with or recast or move forward with, because it's not just as simple as printing it and dumping it in a rubber. There's definitely steps that need to be taken, and if you have somebody that's inexperienced on Tuesday that gets your parts, they're not going to be the best parts you can get. I would definitely say don't run your stuff through on selective laser sintering if you want any type of quality, because that shit is, like this here, this is like a fuzzy part,
Yeah.
It's fuzzy. It was purely created just to proof of concept of design. Hey, this is what it's going to look like, and then I could drop it on the ground and I don't care. Stereolithography masters or anything along those lines, object masters, refractory masters, you don't want to throw those on the floor because they're going to shatter into about 1 billion pieces. But they will need some degree of cleanup before they can go into the mold. And, once you get that stuff done out of the mold, I mean, my terrain is meant so you could throw it down. You don't give a shit. It's easy to paint. That was the whole reason I designed it the way I did.
Yeah.
I want it to be the most durable terrain you buy. And the only reason you want to buy more of it is so you can put more on the battlefield.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it. This shit will not break. I'm not going to do the whole, Dwarven Forge throwing it off a roof shit, but, it's designed to be durable.
Yeah.
Throw it in the bin, and then next time you're ready to play, pour it out of the bin onto the table and set it up.
And the figures you plan to produce in metal?
Yeah, so the figures will be done in metal unless they're larger pieces, like some of the battle suits that Jason has done, and then those will be done in resin and metal for the detail parts. And then if we talk about vehicles, the vehicles will be done in resin with metal parts as well.
Nice.
And that's the right way to do it. I know some other folks have been talking about doing injection mold plastic, but aluminum tools are still damn expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking 5 to 10K to get that up and going. God, I hope I'm so popular that I have to start thinking about that, okay?
Well, when it comes to that sort of stuff, I look at the Battlefront business model and how long it took them to sort of get themselves to a point where they could start investing in this sort of technology themselves.
Oh, really? How I look at it? I look at his Plastic Soldier did it and showed him up, and then Battlefront had to, raise the game.
Yeah, they did have to raise the game, but I think their funds were sort of maybe directed into other avenues, and they thought they could rest on their laurels a little, maybe.
There's an endless list of conversations on that. We could have another show just on that alone.
I'll get a letter turn up in my post box saying cease and desist talking about us on your YouTube.
Just wait. Yeah, we'll probably get something on Facebook tomorrow.
Yeah, well, Anton, you're an asshole. Something to that effect. Wouldn't be the first time, man.
Well, it won't be the last.
No, it won't. It won't.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
All right, so I went to the shop and it was a ghost town. Hey, stop that barking, dog.
I told you it was going to happen.
That's all good, man. It stays on.
All right, so the shop is currently empty. When and what will we possibly see as a first release?
So I'm planning on having the Death Guard. Hold on 1 second. Shut
I'm gonna
it!
kick that fucking dog.
Nah. She's been my friend for a long time. She's good.
I have 2 of them.
Yeah. So
he kicks them all the time.
I kick them all the time.
You're gonna get the ASPCA on there, and you'll be on a commercial, dude. Be careful.
My wife's a vet tech. She's taught me the proper ways of kicking a dog.
so you don't get any bruises. Well, no
Exactly.
superficial identifying injuries.
How to abuse and not leave a mark. Sorry, go ahead.
Good grief.
His wife does it to him.
So the Death Guard will be I'm hoping to have a couple packs of Death Guard ready to go in the next 3 months. And I should probably have vehicles printed and ready to go within a month of that. So there will be 2 Death Guard vehicles that will be as support vehicles. And then hopefully the Silver Order or Tox Troopers within a couple of months after that, along with some vehicles.
So 2016 is going to be a big year for you, mate.
I think 2016 is going to be the big year for us.
Awesome. It was interesting, just going back to that little comment you made before about your discussion with Harold and saying you don't want to be the terrain guy. And how pertinent is that comment? I'm thinking you don't want to be the terrain guy. You don't want that to be your first release that sort of everyone associates Skullduggery with, especially when the amount of time and effort that has gone into your existing staple foundation lines so close to being complete. For the sake of making a few early sales, just hold it off. That makes good sense. I mean, we do our own terrain as well, but terrain was always an afterthought, or not so much an afterthought. Maybe a second or third priority. Well and truly once the lines had been established. So,
well, you keep in mind, I thought I was going to have my lines out 9 months ago, and then after looking at what I actually had, I made the hard decision that I needed to do something different. So the terrain was supposed to come out after the guys came out, but the terrain wound up being the first thing I had because I had to change direction.
So can I ask if, let's say I was a new person to the industry looking to get in and didn't know the first thing about anything, but thought, okay, let's start off as sculptor. How do I go about finding a sculptor? What are some of the things I need to look out for from your perspective, Art? Where have you mentioned you've had troubles with this initial line? Where were the pitfalls? Were there any warning indicators? How did it all come about that, okay, I'm full bore ahead with this initial line, only to have it sort of fall out from underneath you, and it needs now to be sent to Jason to be, in effect, redone?
So the biggest thing you can do is ask the other 15mm manufacturers who they've been successful with.
Yeah.
Who will treat them right, who will communicate. Because bottom line, if they don't communicate, it's not worth doing business with them.
Yeah, communication's absolutely essential.
Absolutely.
If your communication is not strong and solid, don't do business with these people. It's not worth it. I would say that might even be the first thing I would pick. Quality of sculpts, communication, and the ability to follow directions.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all key, and I think that if you don't have any one of those three, you're screwed. I'd rather spend more money to get somebody that communicates than, even quality of sculpture, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I would rather have figures that are pretty damn good as opposed to excellent, as long as I have a sculptor that's responsive or an artist that's responsive, and then, is able to respond to feedback right away. Hey, this looks great. As opposed to emails and communications that just, go into a black hole or a void.
So are you saying that that was one of the hurdles you had to overcome initially? You had a communication breakdown?
Yeah. Yeah, my emails were just going into the void, and my Facebook messages were not being answered. It was just gone. And then, I finally called this individual on the phone and spoke to him and got stuff somewhat on track, but even so, it still wasn't on track. So,
Had you already paid for the work at that point?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Another lesson learned. So, yeah.
Ouch.
Yep. So, consequently, there's a lot of lessons that I've learned about dealing with people and what my expectations are. And I tend to set those expectations up front.
Yeah.
And make sure people understand what my expectation is. I expect no update is better. Even an update. Hey, Art, I fucked off all weekend. I played Xbox One and Fallout 4, and I didn't work on your shit. Dude, that's great. That's communication, and I can live with it. You're going to get to my stuff next week? Yeah, I'll get to it next week. Cool. But, no communication at all? Nah, that's no way.
Yeah. Shit, okay.
Not going to be a repeat business.
No.
It's funny because that seems like the easiest thing, the easiest part.
It is.
For some.
Jonathan, it should be, man.
Yeah.
It should be the easiest. But it just seems like, and I don't know what people have going on in their lives beyond my interactions with them, so shit could be happening. And I get it. I totally get it. hey man, my dad was in the hospital. Cool, just let me know.
Yeah.
I get it. This is hobby shit. I get it. It's not as important as real life stuff.
Yeah.
So, to me, I totally get it.
I mean, what really is, with the advent of Facebook and even email, what is it to expect, 2 minutes of your time to just flick through a quick sentence saying, hey, this is the situation, just letting you know.
Or Skype. Christ's sake, look at this.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely crazy that, and I'm not paying people's bills. Maybe they don't have internet, or their phone's turned off or something because they're scraping by. But I don't know what it's like going to the library in New Zealand or the United Kingdom or Europe, but here we can go to the library and use email if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot somebody a note. Hey, having a rough couple weeks. I'll get with you in a week or so. Just like months on end without contact or communication, that doesn't work for me.
No.
Especially when somebody's sitting on, a nice chunk of change.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I took all your money and I accidentally got lost in the woods for a few months.
Dude, you could have at least invited me, right?
Well, I took your money and went to the pub and pissed it all up against the wall, and now I'm broke. Got any more? Shit.
I better go for that trip. That's all I'm saying, okay? A couple ciders and some darts, and we'll have a good time. On the flip side of that, let's talk about the positives.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that can be reached out to in the 15mm community that it's an open door. You can say, hey, what do you think of this? And they're receptive and they'll give you an answer.
Some of those people, you can't close the door afterwards.
Now, this is true too, but that's okay. Because you know what? I would rather be positive about stuff and have the expectation that it's going to go right than go in thinking it's going to be shit out of the gate.
Yeah.
We've talked about that too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's lots of room for other folks to do stuff in 15mm. So I hope some folks decide to take the plunge and, see what it's all about. But I will tell you this much, it's not cheap.
No,
Getting
it's
it up
not.
and going. It's not cheap. And, it's a big investment of your time. And I know the folks that I talk to on a regular basis, it is a time commitment. And Harold is clinical, but at the same time, he's invested, right? And Keith is invested. And I know you're invested in the stuff you do. And I could talk about any number of other folks that I talk to, John Bear, Mike Renegar, David McBride from Splintered Light. These guys are all invested in what they're doing.
Exactly, because if you're not, you don't tend to hang around for too long.
No, you don't. You don't. And that's for certain. Gavin and Eli, they're invested in their own little, what they're working on. And I think it's good for the customer because people are that invested.
Yeah.
And you just need to realize that, yes, I'm putting out miniatures, but you're also making part of your life public, and to expect people to reach out to you. I get all sorts of messages. Hey, when are they coming out? Hey, are these guys good guys or are they bad guys? And I'm like, well, most everything I do is shades of gray, so I don't necessarily know. There's some evil, but, I don't. And there's a few that are more towards good, but it's shades of gray.
Yeah.
It's all shades of gray. And, it's interesting the messages you get. I've gotten some pretty interesting ones, and I've gotten some ones that are really insightful where people have challenged me on something, and that conversation was enough to bring them into the team, right? Eris Colemain, he was enough to challenge me on some design element stuff, and we wound up having a lot of communication, and now he's going to be the guy that's going to work on the rules elements for me. So it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And having people that are not necessarily yes people in your midst.
It's essential.
It's essential for people to question what you're doing and why you're doing and what your vision is, and get it out of you. Because sometimes getting your vision out of your head and onto paper or into miniature or into artwork is not as easy as it first seems.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, kudos to Facebook for giving us that vehicle to do this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Google Plus is another good avenue where there's quite a few people that are gamers over there. I maintain, a Facebook page for Skullduggery Press and a Google Plus page, and I don't update the website for shit. So if you really want updates, you need to go to one of those.
Plague him on
two.
Facebook. Plague out on Facebook.
Yeah, ask me questions there because I'm very responsive.
He is. He's very upfront. No, cool. Well, guys, we'll take a couple of minute break here, eh?
Works for me.
Eh? Works for
Works
you?
for me. One of the things that I was doing with the 3D printed weapons is the ability to add guns to existing poses.
Yeah.
Try to put your other hand behind it and
It'll
show it
focus.
up there. It'll focus. Little to your right. There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
So I will be doing, along those lines when I get the guns and stuff done, I'm actually going to be doing, conversion and stowage packs for the vehicles.
Cool.
Because I realize it's going to be some time before I get vehicles out. So people can take anybody else's stuff and Death Guard it up or Tox Trooper it up.
Oh.
It's like I got feral dogs in here. Maybe the dingoes are going to take me. Jesus. But I want to be able to do that, so if you wanted to go get combat wombat tanks and make them Death Guard tanks, shit, you dress them up.
Yeah, totally.
So,
I think it's the stowage and the baggage and all the battle damage and crap that you can cram on, the battlefield detritus, that really brings the character of the vehicles to life. So, those.
Oh my god!
I haven't seen a whole lot of that on the market. They're like stowage packs and extra stuff, 15 millimeter.
No,
I know it's
not.
out there. I just haven't seen it.
And actually, it's interesting. Now that Team Yankee is the big push from Battlefront.
Yeah.
Those clean vehicles are not what you see pictures of from the Cold War exercises in Europe. Those vehicles are covered with stowage and shit and backpacks. They don't look like the clean lines of those vehicles they're showing. And, is Battlefront going to get that and offer that? Probably down the road.
Yeah, as special order items, I guess. But
oh, yeah, and you know what the price will look like on that shit.
Yeah,
too.
well, and generally speaking, although I'm actually a big fan of Evan Allen's vehicle sculpting. I mean, he's the one who taught me how to do it. But the stowage packs and stuff, especially when they're passed on to alternative sculptors, just end up a bit naff for my taste.
Yeah,
but
the 15mm World War II, that marketplace seems to have a fair amount of it. And I think the 20mm marketplace actually has more for World War II for the stowage stuff, just because you can get plastic model kit shit and put it on your tanks.
Yeah, totally. That's all tapping into the 1/72nd scale plastic model kits.
Yeah, and the 176s as well. You need to make your vehicles look lived in, and that is something that I'm going to make sure we go down that road of doing.
So you can make shit buckets and that sort of stuff.
Hang them off the back of your panzers, right? Because they were there.
A tank is not a tank without a token shit bucket.
And there you go. Oh, I don't think the Death Guard need that anymore, but that's okay.
The suit processes it?
No, they're they're space undead, man.
Yeah,
they don't do that anymore.
What about the rotting components?
That's all gone, man. They've been around for 4 million years.
Oh shit, there's just bones and dust in those suits.
Yeah, and pico particles and God knows what. There's a good story behind all this. You're going to love it.
It was pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's awesome. Undead space dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome. People are going to find a lot of place for it, but I think one thing also the sculpts that Jason's done, it's going to bring a lot of painters to 15 millimeter. People that are used to, that are stuck in the larger game systems, I think are going to pay more attention to
15 mil scale. I mean, Jason's whole style, I totally dig it. It's so unique. Yeah. It's so Jason Monkman that, you see one of his sculpts and you're like, that's Jason's. That's Skullduggery Press. Because he just does things differently to everyone else, and he's on his own dark vibe. And
the whole vibe of all the design, it all stands out, and I think it's gonna get a lot of attention.
Yeah, his stuff is awesome.
And when you see the stuff he's doing for like the Silver Order, which are like the human types in the universe, even they look fucking great. And the Crimson Order, where these guys, as they grow in power, they manifest more faces. It's beautiful. And I haven't shared all this stuff with the public, but some of that stuff at 15 millimeter, when you look at the figure's this tall and he's got two faces in different directions, it's badass.
Yeah.
And he gets it. That's the one thing is, we can do all the dark stuff and all that, but even like the more human stuff, he nails it. It's a privilege to work with him. It truly is.
Yeah. What's his background? What's Jason's background? Do you know much about him? Is he a special effects sculptor? Is he? What is he? No.
He's a custodian at a school.
Crikey! And he just does this as a hobby.
Yes, and he's amazing. And that's like when we first started talking and we had a couple of Skypes. We just laugh and laugh and laugh and, we get some stuff done, but that's okay because we're enjoying it, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the key things for anybody that works for Skullduggery Press is you have to be having fun, and as soon as it stops being fun, you need to do something else.
That's right.
And I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah.
I think it's key that we all have fun. And when it becomes, if it becomes drudgery or, becomes like the corporate America type of situation, I'm not going to be interested in it either.
Skullduggery Press?
Exactly, man. That's what we're not doing. We're not crossing that bridge.
Yeah. It's the same vibe that our group sort of shares, well, definitely shares the whole Zombie Smith, Flytrap Factory, bow and arrow mix. We do random left field stuff, and a lot of people don't appreciate it. A lot of people do. It's a different vibe, but it floats our boat, and that's what we sort of go for. And it's a lot of fun because, mate, there's easier ways to make it through this world than taking up the sculpting tools or designing miniature lines, and there's much easier ways. You have to have an inherent passion for this crap to put up with a lot of the stuff that we do. You have to go through and put up with. So,
yep.
Yeah, and there's and there's a lot of touch points to make a line of miniatures come to fruition.
Yeah.
You got to have concept art. You got to have a good sculptor. You got to have a good intermediary to do your silicone rubber and resin casting, because I'm not going to take anything that's been done in green stuff and God knows what else, or 3D printed guns, or any bees putty, and just run it through a vulcanized rubber mold and see how the hell it turns out. We've had numerous talks about that.
Yeah,
right.
I've tried to warn you as best I can, Art.
Yeah. And so we're going to go through that process, and then you get your resin cast. They need to get cleaned up. They need to go off to the vulcanized press folks and the metal spin casters. And these are all people you got to find
Yeah.
And you gotta hope to holy shit they know their jobs. And they know
Ideally.
it well. And you ask for references because you need them.
Ideally, those master sculpts that you receive initially should be molded in the RTV, then put in a safe forever and ever, and untouched, guarded, 24/7.
Oh god, yeah. I mean,
because you can vulcanize the resin cast, you can, but once a master's fucked, and
yeah. You know, something like this. When we talk about something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't even express to you how much detail is on there. I can't express to you how much detail is on this one communication device.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Every time I look at it, I'm like, where the hell are they going to put the cut line? And John Paulson called me. He's got Jason's parts. He's like, all right, where the fuck am I supposed to put the cut line? And I'm like, I'm trusting you to put the cut line in and do the least amount of damage to the detail. And he's like, oh my god. What's it like when we start doing figures, right? Because it's going to be intense.
Yeah. John doesn't use single part molds?
He's doing cut molds. But, I've seen a lot of success with cut molds, and worked at a couple of places where cut molds were the thing, and it works. And he is very attention detailed, so I feel very fortunate to have him doing my silicone molding and resin casting. And he's local,
John Paulson's got a massive reputation in this industry, hasn't he? He's been around for a long time doing
the microfront stuff.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. And his quality, like I said, is first rate. And his modeling is quite good, too. I just haven't had something that I've had to cross the bridge with modeling with him yet.
Oh, yeah.
So how many sculpts have you received from Jason? How many have you had in hands?
I actually only have a handful in hand. I have the original character he sculpted for us, which is on my desk somewhere. We can show it this way. So that is the first 15 millimeter character he ever sculpted, was this pose here. And I've got that, and I'm just waiting. We've got a plethora of figures already sculpted, and he posted a video today of some of the stuff that I'm cool showing publicly.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting till we get enough to actually get packs together and then start doing vulcanized rubber molds so it's cost effective.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I could go out and mold everything, but I don't want to do it willy-nilly. I want to do it right the first time. And I want to make sure that the customer is paying the best cost they can. And I'm not saying that my figures are going to be, $2 figures, but they are going to be, I think, they're going to change the dynamics a little bit of 15 millimeter.
The perceived market price?
I'm going to it's probably going to be a little pricier than what folks are
conditioned to.
But I think the amount of detail is going to wear the molds faster. Not only just silicone molds, but I think the vulcanized rubber molds we're going to see, and I'm not going to, if I start getting parts in from vulcanized rubber molds that are metal and they're missing chunks, we're making a new mold.
Yeah.
So the attention to detail is going to be critical to make sure that we are producing the nicest figures that are out there.
You don't want to compromise the integrity of that end product, eh?
Kind of the byline, fine, heroic scale, 15 millimeter figures.
Yeah. And
they are going to be fine. I want these to be, on the table fine or in the display case fine.
Yeah.
We've talked about that.
Yeah, totally. It's good to see this, from my angle, it's good to see this little sort of revolution going as far as the current pricing models of 15mm miniatures is going at the moment. It has been kept artificially low for so long by those who have had it in their means to keep it that way. But it's good to see with the growing enthusiasm in the 15mm scale, the 1/100 scale, that people actually prepared to support these manufacturers who have otherwise been sort of surviving on paycheck to paycheck and doing it quite tough to still be able to bring fine miniatures to the market. So I hope it shakes up the camp. Probably going to get a bit of stick for it. But, tight asses will say, Anton's promoting a price hike in 15mm figures. And to be honest, yeah, I am. Because for too long have 15mm manufacturers been left in the dark. People scrimping and scraggling over having to pay an extra 2 cents for a figure. Well, perhaps you shouldn't be in this hobby. You've got to support the artists.
I know we were talking about this before, just chatting, but there is a difference between buying something like the Perry Brothers sculpts.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody else's. There's a hell of a difference. Mm-hmm. They are worth more because I think they are finer pieces of art. Yeah. It's more than just little guys at this point. I look at these things and they are truly pieces of artwork. This is a piece of artwork. It's more than just, a battlefield objective. It's a piece of artwork. And when you look at it that way, yeah, there can be some increase in price. And I'm not talking radical, but I need to make sure that, I'm prepared to have some cushion to make sure that when that stuff goes wrong, we've lost, the mold's going hell. Make another one.
Yeah.
You need more masters then. Okay. Hey, John, can you run me some more masters? Oh, you need to make a new mold too. Okay, yeah. All right, I'll roll masters over. I drive down to Donner's Grove. He makes his molds. I get them back. I put them away. And, we have a go at it again. And that stuff takes time and money. And I want to make sure that it's invested and prepared that, I can continue to deliver great products over and over again. And, it's funny. I was just thinking about this earlier today. My first 15mm sci-fi models were the xenomorphs that I think LKM QRF has today. I don't know if they were Fortress figures at the time. Do you recall the old xenomorphs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The very early ones? Yeah.
Yes, the very early ones. And I still got some of them around in a bag somewhere. And, I look at what that is, and then I look at what, this stuff is. Mm-hmm. And there's such a vast difference between it.
Yeah.
Not to say those aren't beautiful sculpts. I love those. I pull them out and look at them every once in a while because they truly are cool sculpts.
Well, it's like Josh was saying at our last episode of JBR that the change in the appreciation of 15mm as a viable miniatures marketable scale has sort of drawn the attention of artists from other areas where they otherwise would not have been, and hence why you've got this increase, or this, not just 15mm miniatures, but miniatures in general. You've got this market improvement in figure quality. But in saying that, it's good to see that the Perrys still hold sway. Those guys have been at it since the 70s, and I mean they're still tops in my books. Everything they do is, unashamedly, I'm a Perry's fanboy. So. But in saying that too, you've got Brian Nelson and most of the old guard from Games Workshop are up there. But those three would be, my favourites. But then you look at the some of the guys from Forge World, Simon Egan, Daniel Cockasell, who's now at Weta. Those guys are on a whole different level again.
And I got to tell you, I don't think enough credit is given to John at Ground Zero Games for sustaining the 15mm market as long as he did.
Yeah, he'd probably be the longest surviving company in the 15mm sci-fi market I can even recall. GZG's been around since forever.
And I've got boxes, bins that bend under the weight of his, his metal, and they're doing the whole warp thing because I've been at it for the last 5 to 6 years of doing the 15mm stuff, and he gets a lot of credit. I think Martin Baker does some sculpting for him too. His stuff has got, such a unique style to it. I know that Keith had used him in the past as well, and I know John uses him. And, it's very distinctive. And that's one of those things where you see these distinctive 15mm poses, and it's such a a delight because you can almost call out the sculptor, right?
Mm.
Yeah, and so
the figures have a signature.
In the next year, all of a sudden, people are going to be holding miniatures in their hand. And they're going to be like, shit, that's a Jason Monkman, or oh shit, look, he's got one of Jeremy Smith's guns, or something like that. And that's one of the things too, is everybody that works on the Skullduggery Press team is I promote the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Because I want to see them be as successful as they can be.
No, that's cool.
I know that there was just like an article about, the Huffington Post or something where, hey, I want to use your shit for free and fuck you and we'll give you credit. No,
Yeah.
I want to make sure these guys get paid. They get paid timely and they get credit. And then if anybody ever comes to me and says, hey, Art, what do you think of, Giacomo's sculpting? Does he do great work? Yeah, dude, he does great work. He's timely. He communicates. Boom. These are the things that he's really done well for me. I haven't explored these things, but, talk to him about it.
Yeah.
And that's just one example. Every one of these guys has got something that they really add to the team as a whole. And I think they're all just good people.
It raises another interesting aspect of art. I totally agree with you completely. I know here in New Zealand, sort of artists, when people ask you, well, what do you do for a profession? You say, I'm a sculptor. Oh, so you're an artist. And you're like, yeah, well, technically, yeah. And that sort of carries maybe it's in my own mind, my own, psychological senses, but it carries a bit of a stigma to it. People think, oh, so he doesn't actually work for a living. And
you're some sort of bourgeois bohemian?
Yeah, are you some sort of tree-hugging hippie type friggin' caravan dweller? And not that I wouldn't be proud to say yes I am, but I'm not. But
and if you come from a background too that's more kind of a blue collar, type people.
I mean, mate, I grew up in middle class New Zealand.
Like you get paid. Why doesn't your back hurt? You
That's
get paid
right.
for art. It's your it's. I don't know.
Yeah, and people almost get a bit pissed at you. Well, why do I have to sit in a cubicle, for 60 years of my life, and you get to work at home?
That's the question I'm going to ask them: is why do you? Why do you tolerate it?
Well, I don't. I just ignore it. But you get it from people that you can't exactly ignore as well. I mean, you get it from your own family members sometimes, extended family.
Yeah.
I've got the most supportive wife I could have ever asked for, and supportive daughters. But what I'm saying is that sort of stigma is carried across in avenues. I see. I'm not going to name any manufacturers or stuff, but I'm going to name. You see companies going out there and saying, "Oh, I'm looking for." Someone to write some rules for me, or someone to paint my figures, or someone to do some sculpting for me. I can't afford to pay you, but I'll put your name in lights and I'll glorify you with all the credits and stuff. And to me, I have to call bullshit on that, Art. I mean, you're different to that because you pay them, and that's
everybody's getting paid one way or another.
Yeah.
If not getting paid in dollars, hard American dollars, right?
Those greenbacks.
Those greenbacks.
Show me the Benjamins.
Show you the Benjamins. They're going to get paid in lead or resin.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure that they get it. I had somebody message me the other day. It was Benjamin from France, and he's like,
Benjamin from Franklin.
Yeah, he was from France. I can't think of his last name for the life of me at the moment, but. He asked me, he's like, well, when those Cyberhounds get done, how can I get some of them? And I'm like, I got your address. I'll just send you some. Because what is actually giving contributors product? There's no loss. There's no loss. It's a win-win for everybody. Hey, I want art. I want some of your Cyberhounds. Well, that means you're going to do something with them. You're going to paint them. You're going to show them off. Hopefully you're going to game with them and have some fun with them. Yeah. And that's a win to me.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, since coming on board with Zombie Smith too, man, I've been showered in goodies. I've got boxes of stuff that Josh has sent across, and it's like, cool. I don't know when I'll ever get the chance to use or do anything with it, but it's still cool to have it.
So Benjamin Costa is the one that lives outside, lives in France. And he was like, I want these dogs. I'm like, you're going to get the dogs. And
Yeah.
he's doing some sculpting for me on some stuff I haven't talked about yet. But I tracked him down through Let Adventure for him because he'd done some stuff for Ainsty Castings.
Oh yeah.
And I've been pestering them over at Ainsty Castings for a while as to who is this guy, who is this guy. And finally one of my crazy searches paid off, and I found what he had done for Ainsty, and I'm like, this is the guy.
Yeah.
So I've got some, more terrain type of stuff coming out in the
Cool.
future that
That's
should be pretty exciting.
so yeah. So basically, the finalise what I was saying is to anyone out there listening who is looking to take on board artists seriously, you have to remember artists' work and their trade is their craft is their source of income in most cases. So unless you're really in a position to offer them something worthy of their time, you got to come up with the green. These people got to make a living as well, and that's regardless of whether they're sculptors, painters, writers, rules designers, or even contacting a business such as yourself. Like, let's say I wanted to contact Art and take up a lot of his time to find out all the tricks of the trade and stuff. That's still time that Art's sacrificing for my cause, and that has a dollar value attached to it. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'll put your name up in lights and I'll give you all the credit. That just doesn't float for me, and I'm sure it doesn't for a lot of artists in our industry. So,
Well, I figure a lot of artists are struggling to get by anyway, right?
they are.
They
Everyone's struggling to
sleep.
get by, Art.
They eat, they sleep, they drink. They got to pay rent. They got to pay bills. And if you're not putting money in their pocket, they can't pay their cell phone or their internet, and you can't communicate with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty easy to bridge the gap there and say, if I don't put money in, I might not get product out.
Yeah.
I mean, and to me, I want to see them, be successful,
Totally.
lead a good life so that I get passionate product, right? I want to get the best product I can get from them. So that's why, I don't put a whole lot of deadlines on stuff. I expect them to create their own deadlines, which has bit me in the ass a couple of times, but that's okay. I've had people flake out on me, and that's just part of it. I think with any business you do, you're going to have some of that. But they're human beings. They are deserving of the money you're giving. And, it's like I bought pieces of artwork recently from Emerson Tong and Jake Parker.
Oh, Jake Parker, yep.
Yep. I got one of his flying boat pictures.
Nice.
And I feel better when I give money to them and I've got something that I can put up on my wall that's just beautiful. Like Todd's stuff or Dave's stuff. That stuff that I can put in a frame and put on my wall, and the shit is gorgeous.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of it that it's, mine and it's part of the universe, and, I get to use it, to really showcase the beautiful miniatures that Jason is going to, ultimately deliver to me, and I'm going to deliver to the customer, because some of this stuff is just so gorgeous. I feel fortunate.
Yeah,
and I feel good. It's funny, every time Todd sends me my bill, I don't look for, it's not like I it's like, let's think about all the cool shit we got out of this, and we got so much cool shit.
Yeah.
You've seen some of it.
Oh,
I've shown you some of the behind the scenes stuff, and
Totally.
it's gorgeous work.
Yeah, it is. But it's just speaking from the artist's conglomerate now, man. It just makes life so much easier when you have clients such as yourself and Harold, and the list goes on and on, who do appreciate that this is your art form, this is your form of livelihood, this is your craft, and that mutual respect just grows, and you both cooperatively develop these wonderful products. It says a lot. It says a lot. So, kudos to you, Art. You're looking after the group.
You're being too quiet.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Boner to step up and ask some
Sorry.
questions. Oh, sorry, go. Put it away, Boner.
Sorry. Put it away?
His hands are above the desk. I think we're good.
No, his desk went on a bit of a lean. I saw it.
Are we good? Are we done? Is that it?
I don't know. We're coming up to an hour and a half.
Oh, jeez.
We normally run these for 90 minutes or so, Art. So with the sort of 5 or 6 minutes of bullshit that I'll throw in at the start, and That'd be all good, man.
Yeah, whatever you need. If you need some pictures and stuff, I'll get you some stuff.
Yeah,
that,
if you could.
I haven't shared, so you can put it up out there and be the only one to have
Yeah,
it.
because we were all about the exclusives here, right? And you saw,
I know.
JBR and Harold have sort of raised the benchmark. And
I've been bad. I haven't watched JBR's yet.
you
But
haven't
I
watched
did
it?
watch
Oh,
Harold's.
mate, JBR really blew the benchmark out of the water. He gave us in-depth pre-Kickstarter confidential release picks.
Oh God, yeah, I can read the BS all the way from New
No,
Zealand.
he did, man. He did. He went above and beyond the Call of Duty as you
You're
can only
redlining the meter. Do you see it?
you can only expect from the big man. But I'm sure you won't fail to deliver, Art. So
Oh yeah, I'll get you some stuff that nobody's seen.
awesome, and
And we'll have to do another show too after.
After
close
you-
to the release time.
after we'll actually close to, we'll sort of bump it up. We might actually have more than 51 subscribers by then. See, we're 51 subscribers and taking the world by storm. Actually,
You better keep dropping off that Fountain of Youth pills to the old folks home over there in New Zealand.
No, I threatened to put pubes in their meal. I did. Just kidding. Off the record, guys. And no, we're not at 51 subscribers. We're at 56. So let's just get that straight. Taking the world by storm.
Let's hope it ramps up after this.
It won't. I'll lose some after that comment. Oh dear. Oh, well, Art, mate, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure to finally talk to you voice to voice and face to face in the digital realm than just
Yeah, of course, man.
these random expletives that we sort of send each other like on Facebook all the time. Anton,
I can usually tell when you need to be cheered up because you usually message me and expect me to say something very direct and funny,
Yeah,
and
it's like-
usually I do.
you do. It's like, Anton, fuck off. No. Hey, Art, how you doing, man?
Did you read the whole Skype message I sent to you about inviting me?
I think so.
Yeah, you might want to read that again.
I might have to now, man. I might have just brushed over it, Art.
Oh yeah, I doctored it, and you just brushed right over it because I was like, it was all corporate speak, and then I was like, and don't be a bitch.
I saw that on the Skype invite. Anton, I'd like to add you as a contact, and please don't be a bitch, or something to that effect. So yeah, I saw that, Art. I saw it. Mate, it's been a total pleasure, Art, having you on, and I look forward. Man, I'm sure like the legion of fans and followers that Skullduggers already has. And I'll get you your Death Trooper. And,
Slacker.
yeah, and then maybe you might want me to get you to do some more.
I might.
You might, but you just don't know what you're in store for, mate. So
I totally do, dude. Trust me, we've been talking enough for the last couple of years that I do know what I'm in store for, and it's good.
I'll look after you, man.
And I, just to the Skullduggery fans out there, I want these figures out there as much as you do.
I know it's been a long process for you, dude, and they'd be out already if there were certain things to not occur to sort of throw spanners in the
was
works.
not afoot.
Yeah, some shenanigans afoot.
I like shenanigans. That's a winner. We'll say that.
Yeah,
I think a lot of lessons have been learned, and I think the right people are working on the right stuff at the right time.
Yeah, you got a solid team, man.
We're going to get some stuff done, and we start actually showing off some of the stuff that's coming. I think people are going to lose their minds.
Totally.
So maybe I'll get you a nice lineup picture that you can show of the factions that'll be out for the first line.
That'd be cool. Maybe a dozen pics that I'll just throw together in a nice little montage and put some nice. I can't even tell you Lady Gaga music because you haven't watched the JBR episode. He's got a thing about Lady Gaga.
It sounds like, actually, we do have some good news. It sounds like Jason's going to have some miniature sculpts in Sandy Kalura's new creature collection coming out. So Creature Collection 3 will be coming out, and there will be some Skullduggery Press miniatures, and the bust that he's done for the Dark Legion should be in it.
Nice. Are you going to be selling the likes of the busts and the other sort of ancillary art pieces surrounding your IP?
So I think the busts will probably do those in resin and probably do those just as, limited edition. I'm not going to do anything as really limited edition, but I don't want to just focus on stuff like busts. I want to do game miniatures and cool shit like that. But, the thought of having a bust of the Dark Legion and, that would be something I'd want to take to like a show or a convention to kind of really
it's epic.
plus it up.
Epic stuff, man.
Yeah, and painters are looking for that stuff all the time, and I know already that there's going to be a lot of painters looking at your stuff who don't normally look at 15 millimeter. It's I think it's gonna be that link for the two for a lot of people.
I certainly hope it is, because I really think that there's a lot of 15 millimeter out there today that once you put a brush to it, it comes to life.
Yeah.
And if you're going to limit yourself to 28s or heroic 28s, whatever the hell they are, I think you're really selling yourself short, because there's a ton of great figures all the way down. I mean, I've seen some cool 6mm.
I've seen some awesome 6mm stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy good.
Yeah.
So, I would say to any potential painters out there, don't limit yourself to the 28s. Go look at some other stuff, because there's some beautiful models out there.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. That, beg to be painted. They beg to be painted, and they deserve a great paint job. And, whether you put them in your cabinet and you're done with them, or you put them on the table and play with them, doesn't matter, because they're gorgeous models. And you know what? Ultimately, you're supporting that artist back to where we were.
Yeah.
Through doing that.
Yeah, I mean, support the artist, and you can only expect better stuff. So.
Yeah, more
and
stuff, better stuff. I'm I feel very fortunate that I'm able to, kind of be a patron of the arts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I kind of see you. That's how I've seen you since the start. Here is a true patron of the arts. So.
And I think when you're dealing with people, if you're positive about it, as you can tell, I'm 99% positive on everything I post about stuff. You're going to get better results with everybody you deal with.
Yeah.